Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Veterans Corner. My name is Chuck Wooden, and I'll be your host. Today we have a two-part series. The second part of a two-part series, and the gentleman to my right should look familiar. He's been here enough. We've got Gerry Wright. Gerry, thanks for being here. It's great to have you. Like I said, this is the second part of a two-part series. Last week when we were talking about Agent Orange, there's so much to talk about. And we were talking about your trip.
Yep.
And we're going to be talking this time about the House bills and I believe the Senate bill, right?
Yes.
So we're going to be talking more about that, and hopefully we can drum up some more support for you and these bills. For those that haven't seen our other shows, Gerry's a retired first sergeant from the U.S. Army. Thank you for your service, Gerry.
You're welcome, Chuck.
On behalf of the Veterans Corner and all the viewers, thank you. He served in the 19th Combat Engineers from 1979 to 1970 in Vietnam. He is an Agent Orange survivor. He was inducted into the Connecticut Veterans Hall of Fame in 2014. And as I did with the last show, in case people haven't seen it, congratulations on that. That's a great honor to be inducted into the Connecticut Veterans Hall of Fame. He's also a member of the following VSOs, which are Veteran Service Organizations: American Legion, VFW, DAV. He's life members of these, and he's also a life member of the Vietnam Veterans of America.
Yes.
You had that trip out west. Well, actually, it went down south first on a motorcycle.
All the way to Key West.
Yeah, and we had talked about that. A lot of the questions that I wanted to talk, there was a couple questions I didn't get a chance to ask you.
Okay.
On the last show. So it's one of the. There's a lot that motivates you here. Obviously, you're a Vietnam veteran. You were there. You know about Agent Orange.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this? There's so many Vietnam veterans, but you're the one who's coming out and leading the cause.
Well, I'm an Agent Orange survivor.
Yeah.
Sprayed Agent Orange in Vietnam. I sold my business 3 years ago. I went from 70 hours a week for 30 years to 0. And I needed something to do. And I just got looking through a trunk of memorabilia, and the Agent Orange kept coming up, and I've been saving flyers and Stars and Stripes papers and magazines since 1980. And I got reading this, and I got looking at it, and I go, how can Congress put an end date on an illness?
Yeah.
So I took it to Congressman Courtney, and I said, Joe, I've known him quite a while. And he said he couldn't believe it either. So that's how it started, was with a petition. And then I said, well, I need to attract attention to what I'm doing. Let's get a motorcycle. Let's travel the country. Let's talk to the Legion Post, the VFWs. Let's talk to veterans. Let's talk to families. I talked to 4 widows that lost their husbands to Agent Orange. And I came back, and it's almost overwhelming, Chuck. You can't absorb enough of this because there's so much information on Agent Orange.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, and I've said this over and over again. I said it on the last show and back in July when you were here, and that was on the fact that there's more than just Agent Orange.
Right.
That there's a various descriptions of Agent Orange, and you got
Agent Blue, Agent White, Agent Green, Agent.
Yeah.
It goes on, and it's also called Roundup.
Yeah.
That we use around our house. That's also made by the same company that made Agent Orange.
Yeah. And each one of those has its own specific purpose.
Yep.
Now, with your traveling across the country, the 32 states I believe it was that you visited, how many signatures have you gathered so far?
Well, right now we're up over 4,500 signatures. And I'm hoping that we get more all the time to keep coming in. But you asked me what motivated me to do this was I have the opportunity to be the voice.
Yeah.
And how do I become the voice? It's through networking and meeting people like yourself who can broadcast the voice out. And that's so important to what you do is to get the people behind you. We the people, we the veterans, we the families, we the widows need to get behind this Agent Orange, and let's put it to rest. We need to be treated, and we need to be, if we have a disability coming, the VA needs to realize this. And it all comes down to money, Chuck.
Yeah.
And that's the hard part, is how much money does the government have to spend on this? Do they want to spend the money on this?
That should be a no-brainer. It should be. I mean, it's the least they can do for our veterans.
Well, when I got back from the trip, I called Congressman Courtney and I said, I'd like a House bill. I'd like a House bill on Agent Orange. Let's get it out there. And he said, let's do it. And we worked on it for a week. And June 25th, I think it was, on the 25th, they said if I wasn't on the House floor by the 26th, I wasn't going to get it till after Labor Day. So I called the attorney in Washington that was working with me on it, and I said, this is unacceptable. I'm here 24/7. I need the summer to work on this. Let's get it done. And at 7 o'clock at night, they finished it. And next morning, Congressman Courtney went to the House floor and presented it. And we have the Agent Orange Exposure Fairness Act of 2018 with a House number of HR 6566. Well, that wasn't enough. So I wanted to get some VSOs behind me. The American Legion has been awesome in this. They're very supportive. Sat down with a couple of members of the American Legion, and we wrote a resolution. I had no clue what a resolution was. And I never wrote so many whereases, whereas, and therefores, and colons in my life. But we got it done and presented it to my post in Hebron, Connecticut, Post 95. They approved it, hand carried it down to the state convention in Trumbull, stood before the state convention, they approved it, and it got sent to national. Well, now I'm a little bit nervous because that national was out in Minnesota. Should I go there? Should I not go there? And I was so busy here. And, but I had enough people across the country that went in and really supported this. The American Legion passed it 2 weeks ago, unanimous by all delegates, Resolution 18, to get behind us with the Agent Orange Fairness Act. So now the next step is to get co-sponsors. And the co-sponsors are the 435 members in the House and 100 senators that are in the country. And if we don't get the co-sponsors, the bill is going to die, and it'll die on the floor. So my job now, and it is your job, I'm tasking you with this, Chuck, is that we need to call all our representatives in the House and the Senate and get them to get on board as co-sponsors. The reason for the petition, as I'm hoping to go down to Congress, I've got it set up for 5 days at the end of the election to go to Washington and visit all 435 and all 100 senators. And I'm going to go before them and say, well, oh, you're from Missouri, huh? Well, I just happen to have 100 signatures from people in your district in Missouri that are watching you. And you're going to vote, and you're going to get on this as a co-sponsor, right, Congressman?
Yep.
All right, because people in your area are watching you. They're watching me on Facebook, and I post every other day, every 3 or 4 days I make a posting. So that's the whole niche of it right now, is to get the co-sponsors.
Networking out there, and obviously the trip that you made through those 32 states led up to at least the resolution that was passed.
Yep.
And this year, the National Convention for the American Legion was in Minneapolis.
Yes.
Out in Minnesota.
Yep.
Which, and just to share something with the viewers, and it's actually the 100-year anniversary for the American Legion, which was formed in 1919. The way way it works, our elections go from June to June. So the commanders that are serving now are going into 1919.
1919. Yeah.
2019. Time machine going backwards there. Co-sponsors. Petitions.
Well, I'm looking for endorsements.
Yeah.
And I called Blumenthal's office this morning, and I talked to Sarah Eyman down there, she's been very helpful. The staff of the senators and the congressmen have been awesome for me to work with. And I said, I'd like to get endorsements. Is it ethical for me to get endorsements? And they said, most definitely you should.
Yeah.
Because they get behind legislative like Budweiser. How about Coca-Cola? How about Nutmeg TV?
Yeah.
I mean, if I can get endorsements now, and you see that, oh, Coca-Cola's on board, well, I want to be on board.
Yeah.
Well, I've got 3 endorsements already, and I don't have it in writing yet, but I'm going to meet with 2 of them tomorrow, and I'll be posting those on Facebook as well.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And once you do that, obviously the networking,
The network will start growing.
all of us that are on Facebook sharing, your posts with the endorsements,
Yep.
and it just grows.
It's just growth.
And I'm sure you've created a lot of friends, made a lot of friends on your trip, and they'll see that on Facebook, and it just takes legs and goes.
It just goes.
Yeah.
Yep.
The anything else on the Senate bill with Senator Blumenthal?
Well, I checked with the office this morning, and actually this afternoon, and I checked with Congressman Courtney's office. We don't have any co-sponsors yet, and I call all my representatives here in Connecticut at least twice. In fact, other people have called them as well. And I'm a little bit surprised that some of our House of Representatives haven't signed on yet. I know they just got back in session, so they're busy.
Yeah.
And now they're getting ready for election time, and so that's important to them as well. So
I'm sure most of their focus now is on November.
Yep.
The news media. I know every time I've been trying to get in touch with you, talking to you, I'm here with Channel 8, I'm here with Channel 3, I'm going here, I'm going there. That's fantastic.
Well, they're calling me,
Yeah.
which is really great.
Yeah.
Like you called me.
Yep.
This is it was very important. Channel 3 did an interview with me last Thursday. Wayne Norman from 1400 AM out of Willimantic.
Yep.
I was on with him. He's the voice of the Huskies. Couldn't believe when we got done. He wants to have me back. Steve Parker from TIC 1080. I've been a co-host of his show twice now. And they want me back again later in the fall. It reaches a lot of people, and have that support is just great.
It's we were talking about on the last show, it seems like every place that you went to, there was something going on that just the timing was right.
I know.
And we threw it out there. It was meant to be many times.
Yep.
But all this support that you're getting, once again, it was meant to be.
Well, I'm riding out across the desert in Arizona, and there's a motorcycle in front of me. He kept speeding up and slowing down. He's very noisy.
Yeah.
So I'm watching him because it's hot, and I'm thinking, oh God, maybe he's,
Having engine problems.
or having health problems
Yeah.
because it's so hot. So I followed him off into a rest area, and I pulled in behind him, and he pulled his helmet off. He looked at me and goes, "Hey, Yank, what are you doing out here?" And he was from the UK.
Yeah.
He's riding a 1976 Triumph across the United States with a change of clothes and a sleeping bag. He's a publicist for USA Today and for the New York Post, and he writes stories. So we did a selfie, we did the whole thing, and I forgot all about it. And about a month later, I get a phone call from his office in Brooklyn that they want to interview me on the trip, which we did. And they write the story, and they post pictures, and then they put it out there for networks to grab. Only one, Armed Forces Radio, grabbed it, and that was it. So hopefully others like the Washington Post or USA Today will pick up on it.
The way this is taking off now, I'm sure it's just a matter of time. The support is definitely there. It's a cause that I think everyone can relate to. I mean, not necessarily everybody, but especially within the veteran community.
Yeah.
I mean, it's and like we were talking in the show before, the Part 1. That was with the children.
Yeah.
The children of the mother and fathers,
Yeah.
the veterans who were exposed to this, may have been on land or at sea.
Well, it was back, I had my first Agent Orange exam in 1980, and they denied my claim immediately, and I have that paper right where I can look at it.
Yeah.
But sterility. Now, you look at the mountain yard women that where I didn't see this, but I was told the mountain yard women in the area that was sprayed would stop and abort their babies right in the road. They were so sick. I've talked to people that have, to men that were married, and their wife would have 2 or 3 miscarriages, and there was nothing in the family that would be that way. But sterility was one of them. In fact, I was reading on that again today. That's one of the factors. And the VA said it was at one time. Then they just said, no, it's not.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's
so.
You know, that's a whole nother.
That's a whole nother thing.
Another show that we can get into, or
Yep.
maybe we shouldn't get into. But I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of that. It's they're covering their butts, and you know, it's. You know, I saw the picture. The picture that really stands out for me, and I think I've seen it on Facebook, was the Vietnamese young man who no eyes.
Yeah, you saw that too.
Yeah, I saw that,
Yep.
and it was. I had to take a double look, and you know, how could that be? I mean, it was like almost like he had a mask on.
Over 3 million of them like that right now.
3
Over
million?
3 million Vietnamese are affected by Agent Orange.
Yeah, that's.
And it's,
You know, there has to come a time where they have to fess up and understand that this is a problem and need to get out there, be proactive and correct it.
well, I'm not sure how this works exactly, but in 1984 there was a lawsuit, and a $180 million lawsuit, and it was settled out of court, which it shouldn't have been. And I have it on video that one of the attorneys wanted to go to trial, $180 million to give to the Vietnam veterans that have died from Agent Orange or to their widows. It had to be spent, I found out the other day, by 1996. But nobody knows how it was dealt out. I mean, I was on the Agent Orange registry. I belonged to Agent Orange Victims International that was formed down in Stamford, Connecticut back in 1980 with Jimmy Sparrow and I can't remember the other fellows, McCarthy. Yeah. And where'd that money go? $180 million. Are you kidding me? That's like $1,000 a veteran.
Yeah.
You know, that's like $3,000 to the widow because she lost her husband.
Yeah.
What a slap in the face.
It is.
But there's something in place now that we can't sue anymore. See, they set something up so the chemical companies can't be sued anymore. And maybe we could save that for another show.
You know, that's it's certainly, in this day and age, it's not surprising. It's not surprising at all. You know, I know you had shared a couple of. I had asked you about your most memorable part of the trip, and you shared that with us. Was there a second one that you could share with the viewers?
Oh yeah, the second one would be when I got to Michigan. I stopped to visit my brother, who spent 8 years in the Army. He raises shepherds, the long-haired, straight-back shepherds, as service dogs, and they go to visit people with the service dogs. There's a park outside of Detroit, strictly for canine dogs. There's 2,400 canine dogs buried there. They have a monument wall of the name of every dog that served in Vietnam that was euthanized. A memorial wall. This is awesome. So what they do with the shepherds, they bring them there, and when they have a burial for service dog or for like that, they teach their dogs how to howl. And there'll be 6 or 7 dogs, and I've got it on video with my brother sitting there with his shepherd, and they howl during the service. Oh my God. It's unbelievable. It just hair stands right up on the back of your neck when you hear them dogs howling. And so that was pretty memorable as well.
You know, a lot of people don't realize that, unlike now, back in Vietnam and the earlier wars and conflicts, you couldn't bring the dogs back.
No.
And that's why they were euthanized.
Yes.
That obviously has changed. When did that change? Desert Storm?
I'm not sure exactly when it was changed. I don't even know if I know now they airborne with them out of the planes with the dogs. I don't know if they did that there over in Vietnam, but the dogs in Vietnam were trained to kill.
Yeah.
And that's what they would do. They would go out at night and they would lay there real quiet like, and then the enemy would be coming out through the bush and they would send the dogs on them.
Okay.
So they were trained to kill. I don't know about today.
Yeah. I mean, it's
you know,
it's sad to say, but you can almost see why they probably had to euthanize them before you brought them back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I said. I mean, it's an unfortunate thing. I know that now they bring them back.
Yeah.
Did you have pictures of the canine, the cemetery and all that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be interested maybe to see those on Facebook or send them out.
The video with my brother with the dog howling is on Facebook.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can see it on there.
It's something to, as always, we these shows go by so fast. 25 minutes.
Oh.
It's like that. I mean, there's so many things that we can just keep talking about. And there's great things to get out to the viewers.
But we have a great country, Chuck. What amazed me was how large this country is.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I'm getting older. I did this trip in 1985.
Well, you went to every corner of the country.
Well, before I did pretty much the same thing. Yeah. But it's such a beautiful country. We have a beautiful country here.
Now, well, we still have, actually, we've only got a couple minutes left. And I know we wanted to touch base a little bit on Mission 22.
Yep.
And I know you had some information to share on that.
Well, I wish I had a little bit more. I talked to a director from Connecticut. Her name is Mary Kate Storm. She's a 25-year Army veteran. And her family and her daughter and everybody is very dedicated to this. There's a lot of good groups around Connecticut that do the kayaking for veterans.
I've been in touch with, I think it's Paul.
Paul.
Yep, I've been in touch with Paul. We're going to have him on the show.
I'm going to be with him next Thursday.
Okay. And tell him you were here.
Yep.
Tell him you were here, and I've got to get in touch with him. These are the shows that we want to bring to the viewers.
Yep.
This is why the show is here, because a lot of people don't realize.
They don't.
And the Veterans Corner is actually growing as far as popularity out there. I mean, this show is seen statewide. If you have Frontier, it's seen from every corner.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's great to get. I actually just circled Mission 22 and put down future show. It'd be great to have that as a whole topic, because the topic itself of 22 suicides from veterans a day, it's certainly a topic that needs to be discussed for 25 minutes.
Now, we talked this morning about it, and it ties in with PTSD.
Yeah.
It really does. And it ties in with the Agent Orange. So it all ties in together.
Yeah. But, I just got word that we got 1 minute left.
Okay.
So it's, once again, Jer, it was great to have you here.
I'm so glad you're out there to get the word out for us, Chuck. So
you know what? As time goes on, and there's some more to report on these bills, the Senate bill and the House bill. Please give me a call, and I'll make sure I make room for you.
Oh, thank you.
The Veterans Corner hopefully is going to be around for quite some time. We're actually closing in on our 100th show.
Wow.
I think we're right around 88 right now. So
I'd be honored to attend your 100th show.
Yeah, that should be somewhere right around the Christmas holiday.
Okay.
So I know we're not going to reach that, this fall. So it'll be right around the first of the year, or right before. So with that being said, I want to say thank you to the viewers. Thank you for being here also, Chair. My name's Chuck Wooden. I'll see you next time on the Veterans Corner. Good night.
Good night.